Hi everyone, Dana Shibley here with Verifyle. Verifyle is the optimal tool for securely and productively managing communications between professionals and clients with uncompromising usability. Smoothly take charge and manage the scattered flow of client information with Verifyle. Verifyle is ultra-secure messaging, document sharing and storage, and unlimited IRS-compliant electronic signatures, all on a single screen, where in that single screen, for each situation you're working on, whether that be a client engagement, project management, or any kind of sharing or storage of sensitive information, you can see exactly who has access to what information and if and when any single individual has looked at or downloaded any information, providing you with heightened situational awareness and an ability to clearly understand not only what is happening on your side of the communication, but the other side as well. And it is all protected by our patented encryption key management technology, Encrypt, which individually encrypts each data element inside of Verifyle with 6 unique encryption keys, granularizing risk to protect against devastating bulk access vulnerability. Think of Verifyle as your all-in-one communication power tool, specifically designed for those situations you need to be absolutely on top of that must be well organized and above all private and secure. Verifyle is led by Jack Smith, who invented and co-founded the company Hotmail, which was many people's first experience with both email and the internet and grew to several hundred million users. He also had lead roles with 2 successful digital security companies. Verifyle seamlessly pulls together security, productivity, and ease of use to provide an exceptional experience for you and your client. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into the demo for Verifyle Pro. So here we are on the sign-in screen for Verifyle, and you can access this page using any of the major browsers, and it doesn't matter whether you're using a Mac, a PC, or a tablet computer. And you're welcome to also use our very handy mobile app if you would like as well. Okay, so I put in my email address and password here. So I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And I've selected the option inside of Verifyle such that an additional authentication code or second factor of authentication is being requested of me. I can receive that either in the form of SMS or use a QR code as that second factor of authentication. Okay, and I do have the option to click in this little box right here, which essentially informs Verifyle, hey, Verifyle, in the future, if you can see that there is a sign-in attempt to my account where the proper password has been put in, and you can see that this device that I'm using right now is being used, and also the same browser as I'm using right now, then there's no need to ask for the additional authentication code, okay? All right, so I'll go ahead and type the authentication code in for purposes of this demonstration. All right. And now I'm inside my Verifyle system. And for purpose of this demo, I will be acting as Dana Shibley, the tax professional at ABC Business. Okay, and here we are at the home screen of Verifyle. And by the way, you can make this logo right here be anything that you would like, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit down the road. Okay, the main thing I want to point out to you here from the home screen of Verifyle is that there are 2 main areas inside of Verifyle, okay? One is the Workspaces area, which we're in right now, and you can see that exemplified by the fact that the Workspaces tab is highlighted. The second area is the Contacts area, and let's go ahead and go there right now. So I'm going to click on the Contacts tab, and now you can see all of my various contacts inside of my Verifyle system, any one of which I can click on at any time in order to open up a secure one-to-one private messages communication between me and that particular individual, in this case, Irma Underwriter. So I can type any message that I would like to Irma Underwriter, and I can also click on this paperclip symbol right here to securely upload and share files with Irma if I would like. But let's make this example a little bit more realistic. Let's say that I meet somebody and I want to very quickly open up a secure encrypted one-to-one communication with that individual. All I need to do is click on the plus symbol right here in the Contacts tab. Let's say this person is named Christine Carson. So I'm going to go ahead and type in Christine's name and email address, just like that. And now you can see that Christine Carson's name has been added to my contacts list. And also here I can see that a one-to-one secure private messages communication area has opened up between me and Christine Carson. Okay, she sees the same interface on her side. I'll go ahead and type a message to Christine. All right, and I'm going to click on the paperclip symbol and choose a document to share with her securely. There we go. There's the message, there's the document, and I will click send. Okay, so what Verifyle has done behind the scenes is encrypted this information as it was brought into Verifyle and automatically sent an email alert to Christine Carson, informing her that I, Dana Shibley, her tax professional, am securely sharing a private message and an annuity policy document with her inside of Verifyle. By the way, you can see the annuity policy document over here as well, expanded on, and I can do a number of things to it here, but we'll look at that in just a few minutes. But the main thing for you to keep in mind right now is that Christine Carson receives that email alert in her old-fashioned email box, okay? She can see that I'm sharing with her a private message and also an annuity policy document, but she can't actually access any of that information inside of her email account. Why? Because email is not secure. We don't want to be sharing sensitive information back and forth via email. However, she can click on the link in that email alert, which brings her into Verifyle, where she can create her own password and then access all of this information, both the annuity policy document and the message, okay? And the moment she looks at or downloads the annuity policy document, I will immediately receive an alert to that effect, letting me know that she's accessed the information I provided to her. And that access instance will also be logged for me to refer to anytime that I would like to in the future. Okay, and if for some reason Christine doesn't like the idea of clicking on links in email alerts, then she can simply go directly to verifyle.com in order to access this information. Let's see what this looks like from Christine's perspective. So I'm going to go ahead now and sign in as Christine Carson. Okay, I would have received the email alert, but if for some reason I was already inside of Verifyle, I, Christine Carson, would first have seen this internal alert right here. So I, Christine Carson, I'm going to click on the Contacts tab, and here I can see that a private message has been shared with me by my tax professional, Dana Shibley. So there's the message, hi Christine, and here's the annuity policy document, which I can click on here, or I, Christine Carson, can click on over here if I would like. And if I either look at it or download it, an alert will automatically be sent to Dana to that effect, okay? So as Christine, I'm going to go ahead and just type a message back to Dana in this very familiar interface, the same one that Dana sees on his side. Thanks, Dana. Please include my husband in this communication as well. Okay. And as Christine, I also have the option, of course, to click on this paperclip symbol to share information, any file I would like, right back to Dana as well. Okay, but I'm just going to type a message for now, and I'll click send. Okay, and now let's go back and look from Dana's perspective, the tax professional. I'm back in as Dana, and I can see the message that Christine Carson has shared back to me. Okay, so securely sharing information on a one-to-one basis back and forth with someone using the private messages feature out of the contacts area of Verifyle is extremely simple. Again, you just click on the plus symbol, type in the person's name and email address, and you're rolling, okay? And as you'll see in just a few minutes here, you can also request signatures and do many other things to complete your business with that individual. So if my business with Christine Carson is going to be relatively simple, let's say in the tax industry, it's a simple case where maybe I'm going to get a W-2, maybe one or two other documents, but it's a quite young person and the situation is quite simple. I would be probably fine just doing all of my interaction with Christine Carson from the contacts area using private messages. Okay. So if that's the case for the bulk of your clients, you've pretty much learned already the bulk of what you need to know in order to use Verifyle. However, if you come to understand that you're going to need some deeper communication capabilities to work with this client, then you're going to want to consider using workspaces to communicate with the client. For example, when I say deeper level communication needs, that would be exemplified by situations where there are going to be multiple people involved in the communication. And I can already see here that Christine is asking to bring her husband into this communication. And let's say that in addition to talking to me just about taxes, Christine has raised the issue of estate planning. Okay. And she has mentioned that she has some out of state property. And that, by the way, she's also a partner in a small business, and she has a business partner that she wants to be able to communicate with me as well. So these are all signs to me that there are potentially going to be multiple people involved in the communications that I will have with Christine Carson and people in her network. And there may also be multiple topics: estate planning, small business planning, succession issues possibly, in addition to taxation issues. All right. So these multiple topics in Verifyle would end up potentially becoming what we would call workspace threads. Okay. So I'm getting signs of multiple people being involved and multiple topics being involved. These are all tip-offs to me that I should start working with Christine Carson inside of a workspace. So how do I do that? I click on the Workspaces tab. Okay. And here you can see that I already have a number of workspaces. These workspaces are all situations in which there tends to be a lot of information moving back and forth between me and potentially multiple other people, and also multiple topics inside of each of these workspaces. And I'm able to orchestrate all of that inside of each of these workspaces. Okay. So we've concluded that we need a workspace for Christine Carson. So let's go ahead and create that workspace. How do I create a workspace? Bet you can take a guess. That's right. You just go up here and you click on the plus symbol for workspaces. So I'm going to create a new workspace here that I'm going to call Client Christine Carson. Okay. There's that new workspace, Client Christine Carson. And the host is me, Dana Shibley. Why am I the host of this workspace? Because I am the creator of this workspace, which means that I'm the person who's very much large and in charge. I'm the conductor of this workspace. I am the only person who can bring in guests like Christine and other people in her network. I'm the only person who can set up multiple topics, threads inside of this workspace. None of those guests that I bring in can do that. This gives me the ability to really orchestrate everything that happens inside of this workspace. So watch this. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Client Christine Carson workspace. Click. And now we're inside of it. But there's nothing inside of here because I haven't put anything in here yet. But here's the title of the workspace, Client Christine Carson. And Verifyle is prompting me to add a guest. So I'll click here to add a guest. And the first person I'm going to add is Christine herself. So I'll search for her. There she is. And I add her just like that. And the Verifyle system has recognized that I had already begun a secure one-to-one private messages communication with Christine over in the contacts area, remember? And Verifyle assumes that it would probably be very convenient for me to still have access to that one-to-one secure stream of consciousness communication with Christine Carson inside of the workspace, Client Christine Carson, okay? So the reason that we created this workspace in the first place was so that we could take advantage of some of those deeper level communication capabilities. And I can do that using workspace threads. So watch this. I'm going to click on the plus symbol and I'm going to create the first workspace thread called tax planning, like that. Okay, I'm going to create another workspace thread called estate planning. Okay. And depending on how I want to organize the flow of information with my clients, I might want to have another workspace thread called out-of-state real estate, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. I'm going to add one more workspace thread here. So I'm just going to call this new workspace thread my reference material. There we go. There's the third workspace thread. Okay, let's start out in the tax planning workspace thread. So I'll go ahead and click on it right here, which brings it front and center. And I can see that no guests have access to any information I'm going to put in. So I have to inform Verifyle as to who I want to give access to this particular workspace thread. And the way that I do that is the following. This is where you want to listen very carefully. Okay, big tip here. Wherever you are inside of the Verifyle system, okay, if you move your cursor around, you will see these little gear icons pop up. Okay, when things are unclear, go to the gear. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that corny little jingle because it will serve you very well. Okay, wherever you are inside of Verifyle, if you're unclear as to what your options are for moving forward, move your cursor around and you'll see these gear symbols pop up. So I'm going to click on the gear symbol right here for the tax planning workspace thread, and I'm going to click on Manage Permissions. Okay, this is what determines who's going to get access to this particular workspace thread, tax planning. So I click here, and I'm going to give Christine Carson access. And there you can see that Christine Carson now has access to the tax planning workspace thread. But remember, when we were communicating with Christine Carson in the one-to-one private messages communication, she indicated that she wanted me to bring her husband into the communication. And I know that she was talking about taxes. So I'm going to go back to the tax planning workspace thread, click on the gear icon, click on Manage Permissions, and I'm going to add her husband. Now, he's not going to be in my list of contacts here because I've never communicated with him before. So I'm going to click on the plus symbol next to contacts, and I'm going to add him. Let's just say that his name is Sammy Spouse. Okay, so I've added Sammy Spouse like that. Okay, there he is. And I click Save. And now I can see that Christine Carson and Sammy both have access to the tax planning workspace thread. So I'll type a message for them in here. And click on the paperclip symbol to bring in some tax-related documents. How about that? And that, and that. Okay, and by the way, I can just drag and drop these documents in if I would like. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click Send. Okay, so all that information is encrypted as it is brought into Verifyle. Okay, and so now Christine Carson, Sammy Spouse, and I have the ability to access and add to this information anytime that we would like. And over here on the right, we can see the 3 documents expanded on. And again, you see the gear icons, right? When things are unclear, go to the gear. So I can click on the gear symbol right here. And here I can see a number of things that I can do to the document, okay, including downloading it, downloading multiple documents, changing the name of it, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, we'll look at that in more detail a little bit down the road. Okay, so I've gotten things rolling in the tax planning workspace thread. Now let's go to the estate planning workspace thread. Click. All right, now the estate planning workspace thread is front and center. First thing I'm going to do is decide who gets access to it. So I go to the gear symbol right here. I click on Manage Permissions, and I'm going to give both Christine Carson and Sammy Spouse access to it. But let's say that I get a phone call or another message from Christine Carson, and she lets me know that she wants her estate planning attorney to also be in this workspace thread. No problem. So I'm going to go back to the gear symbol, click on it, click on Manage Permissions, and I'm going to add her estate planning attorney. Let's say that is Lisa Lawyer. So I go ahead and add Lisa Lawyer, just like that. And now we can see that Christine, Lisa, and Sammy all have access to the estate planning workspace thread. So I might type a message here like, welcome, Lisa, because I've never communicated with her before. Let's begin work on estate planning. Okay. And I'll click on the paperclip symbol here and pull in some typical estate planning documents. How about an asset allocation document and a business succession map and a last will and testament and a life insurance policy. Okay, that should be good. So I'll drag and drop those 4 documents in just like that. I click send. All right. And so now I can see that Christine Carson, Lisa Lawyer, and Sammy Spouse have access to the message I put in here and these 4 documents, and any of the 4 of us can access and add to this information as we would like. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to go ahead to the third workspace thread I created called My Reference Materials. Click, and here you can see that no guests have access yet. And you know what? I'm not going to give any guests access because this is just a place where I want to add things for my reference alone, okay? Whenever I'm thinking about this new client of mine, client Christine Carson. So in the My Reference Materials workspace thread, I'm going to click on the paperclip symbol, and let's say that I bring in, how about an annual report and a cash flow report and consulting agreement, for example. All right, so I'll pull those three documents in just like that. And then I click send. Although I'm not sending this to any other people, it's basically being encrypted and sent into Verifyle, okay, for my access alone. No guests have access yet. You see, it's private, the My Reference Materials workspace thread. Although, as you know, at any point in the future, if I would like to, I do have the ability to go to the gear symbol and decide to share this with, for example, my new business partner in the future or whomever that might be. Okay, so what do we see going on here? At a high level, what's going on is that I'm inside of the workspace called Client Christine Carson, and I have set up 3 different workspace threads. And each of these workspace threads essentially functions as a dynamic subfolder within the broader framework of the workspace called Client Christine Carson. Okay, so for each of these workspace threads, I can give different clusters of people access to different information, right? Again, I'm the only one who controls all of that access capability. And in the My Reference Materials workspace thread, I decided to not give anybody access at all. But this effectively gives me the ability to provide individuals, whether that be client Christine Carson herself or people in her network, customized access to only areas of information that I want to give them access to. Each of them is going to get a specific orchestrated view of Christine Carson's information as directed by me. Let's see what Christine sees from her side. Okay, so let's go in as Christine Carson. Okay, so I'm in as Christine Carson now. And in the workspaces area, I can see that I would have received an email alert, of course. And I can see here that there's a new workspace here called Client Christine Carson. And I, Christine Carson, click on it here. And I can see, okay, there's a workspace and it's hosted by Dana, my tax professional. And he's put 2 workspace threads inside of here. Okay, so an important thing to notice here is that as Christine Carson, okay, I only see 2 of the workspace threads that Dana has created. Okay, why? Because these are the only 2 workspace threads that Dana, the tax professional, my tax professional, wanted me to see. In fact, he might have many other workspace threads, right? He might have workspace threads that he's using to communicate in an informal manner with colleagues inside of his company or with people who are specialists in some of the tax issues relevant to me. Dana sure doesn't want me to see that unstructured, non-presentation format information as he's hashing things out with those other professionals in his world. He wants me to only see things that make him look like a professional. So for example, if Dana's really on top of his game, even though I, his customer, Christine Carson, can't see those workspace threads he's using to communicate with people inside of his company, Dana might also provide to me a workspace thread called depreciation schedule if I'm heavy into real estate. He might create a workspace thread called charitable contributions if I'm doing a lot of charitable contribution, et cetera, et cetera. In this way, providing to me, the client, a real portfolio view of my information anytime that I sign into Verifyle, right? A real professionally formatted picture of my financial, my tax, my estate planning situation. Now, certainly not all of your clients need or are going to appreciate this level of diligence in your presentation to them. But I bet you that some of them would really appreciate this level of presentation. And that's for you to decide. Okay, so back into specifics here. In the tax planning workspace thread, if I click on it, I can go in and I can clear the alert by clicking on the documents over here or clicking on them over here. And in the estate planning workspace thread, I can do similarly. Okay. And let's say that I decide that I want to take a closer look at the life insurance policy. Okay, so I click on the life insurance policy document, and let's say that I decide to preview it. That just sent an email alert to Dana, letting him know that I just previewed that document. And then let's say that I also decide that I want to go ahead and download the document. A couple ways I can do that. So I decide to download the life insurance policy document. Okay, so that also just sent an email alert to Dana, which Dana can block those, by the way, if that becomes overwhelming for him. But in any case, both of those access instances are logged for Dana to refer to anytime that he would like. Okay, so let's say that I, Christine Carson, as I'm inside of the estate planning workspace thread, and let's say that some months have passed, and there are dozens and dozens of documents in here, and maybe hundreds of time and date stamped messages from Lisa Lawyer and Sammy Spouse and from Dana, my tax professional, et cetera, et cetera. At some point in time, I reached the conclusion, you know what? My estate planning attorney, Lisa Lawyer, really isn't adding much value here. It seems to me like everything she writes in here is pretty obvious, even though I'm not a specialist in her field. Pretty obvious to me. And she's very, very expensive. I've decided I don't want her to be involved in my estate planning anymore. Can I remove Lisa Lawyer from the estate planning workspace thread? No, I cannot, because just like Lisa, I'm a guest in this estate planning workspace thread. Only Dana, the host of this workspace, has the ability to remove someone from a workspace thread. Okay, so I want Lisa removed. I can type a message right here that Dana will see to remove Lisa Lawyer from the workspace thread, but Lisa's going to see that as well, and that's a little bit blunt. So probably what I want to do is click on Dana's name right here to open up the private messages, one-to-one communication between just me and Dana, and tell Dana, get rid of this attorney, Lisa. All right, or something to that effect, right? All right, so I send that message to Dana. Now let's go back in and look from Dana's perspective. Okay, so I'm back in as Dana. Okay, I'm back in as Dana, the tax professional, and I can see the message that Christine Carson, my client, has typed to me to get rid of the attorney, Lisa. Okay, so I know that the attorney, Lisa, is inside of the estate planning workspace thread. So I'm going to go to the estate planning workspace thread. Go to the estate planning workspace thread. I'm going to click on the gear symbol, and I'm going to click on manage permissions, and watch this. I will just take away Lisa's access like that. And now you can see that Lisa Lawyer no longer has access to the estate planning thread. And when I get a phone call from Christine to add the new estate planning attorney, all I need to do is go back to the gear symbol, click on manage permissions, and I will go ahead and add her new estate planning attorney. Let's say that that is Lenny Lawyers. Okay, so there we go. I just added Lenny Lawyers. And now I can see that Christine, Lenny, and Sammy have access to the dozens and dozens of documents that have been added in here, as well as the hundreds of time and date stamped messages and so on and so forth, including any information that was added by the prior attorney, Lisa Lawyer, who no longer has access to the estate planning workspace thread. So the new attorney, Lenny Lawyers, can read through all of this information and very quickly be brought up to speed on all of this. And I can type a message to the group such as, Lenny, please review all this information, and then let's all talk at the end of the week. Something to that effect, right? And imagine being able to spend just 20 seconds like that and transfer that entire historical record of estate planning information for client Christine Carson from one professional to another if you're using something like email and email attachments. It's pretty darn near impossible, right? It's very powerful to be able to take that entire transcript of information and very quickly move it over to another professional, right? And that might be a new person who comes into your firm when the prior person leaves, or the prior person takes on other responsibilities, et cetera, et cetera. Extremely convenient. Okay. And the other thing I want to point out is that at any time, I, Dana Shibley, the tax professional and the host of this Workspace client, Christine Carson, can go over here and go to any particular document. Let's say the life insurance policy. Let's say it's an irregular life insurance policy. It has significant implications for tax planning and estate planning, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to know who has looked at it. All I need to do is click on the gear symbol right here, click on View Access History, and I can see right off the bat that Sammy's spouse hasn't looked at it yet, and neither has Lenny Lawyers. That's okay. I just gave him access 5 minutes ago, right? But I can see Christine Carson has actually looked at it twice. Okay. And if I click here, I can see the exact date and time of both of those access instances. And so if I can see here that she's accessed this document 22 times in the last month, that's probably a pretty good tip off to me that I can add some real value to Christine, perhaps by reaching out to her and explaining her some of the implications of this life insurance policy. Similarly, if I see that she just accessed this document 10 minutes ago and I have a call scheduled with her in 45 minutes, I know that I better be on my toes and ready to answer questions about the life insurance policy. So this is just another one of those features inside of Verifyle that really enables you to elevate your situational awareness, be on your toes in terms of understanding what's happening on the other side of your communication with your client and be best prepared to serve that client. Similarly, whether you're inside of a private message with somebody or whether you're inside of a workspace thread, at any time you can click on somebody's name to see when they were last inside of that communication, that private message or that workspace thread, regardless of whether they added any information or not. So I can see Lenny Lawyers has not yet viewed this information, but if I click on Christine Carson's name, I can see the exact date and time that she was last inside of this information, at a minimum giving me some sense of the recency of this information in Christine's mind. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward here. I know that electronic signatures are very important to all of you. So let's go ahead and go into the tax planning workspace thread. And I think all of you are aware that in Verifyle, you get unlimited electronic signatures compliant with the IRS at no charge. Okay. So in the tax planning workspace thread, I'm going to go ahead and add a document. Let's go ahead and add engagement letter. Okay. So there's the engagement letter. You know that if I go ahead and just click send here, that's simply going to share the engagement letter with Christine Carson and Sammy's spouse, but I want them to sign it. So I'll type a message here for them. Please sign this document. Okay, and I'm going to click in the little box here to request signing. Okay, then I click send. Okay, and the Verifyle system is asking me which of these individuals I want to sign this document, and I actually want both of them to sign it, but I want Christine to sign it first. Okay, so I go ahead and click next. And so for the first signer, Christine Carson, I need to answer a couple of questions. Do I want to require the signer to agree to these terms below? Okay, and by the way, you can customize these terms and save them as default anytime that you would like. Change it to whatever message you'd like it to be. Okay. Yes, I do want her to agree to these terms below. And I also want to require her as a signer to input a one-time signature code. So I'm going to go ahead and add her mobile number at which I know that she can receive that one-time signature code. Just like that. All right. And now I'll do the same thing for the second signer, Sammy's spouse, her husband. So yes, I want to require him to agree to these terms below. And yes, I am going to put in what I know to be his mobile number where he can receive the one-time signature code. There we go. All right. So here's the engagement letter. And Christine Carson's the first signer. I'm going to increase the size of this so it's a little easier to work with. And so all I need to do is scroll down the page and then using my cursor, go ahead and draw the box where I want Christine's signature to go. Okay, so there we go. And by the way, I can click in this box. I'm indicating that I want signature here, but I could have chosen initials, date in a number of different formats, or I could have made it a custom fillable field as well. Okay, and then the second thing is that I want the date to go here, let's say. Okay, and I want the date in this format, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click Next Signer. Okay, the second signer is Sammy Spouse. And let's say that I want Sammy to sign right here, just for example. And let's say that I want initials from him here, just like that. Okay, and by the way, you have the option, if you would like, to click on the Templates tab right here and create a template of exactly where you want signatures on this particular document, the engagement letter, so that in the future, if you have another couple that you want to sign an engagement letter to work with you, you don't have to go in and draw those 4 boxes again, right? So I might save this template as engagement letter for couples, for example. Or if I was only having one person sign it, I might call this particular template engagement letter for single person or something to that effect. Okay, something for you to keep in mind. Saves a lot of time if you have any documents that you need many people to sign that same particular document. All right, but I'm going to go ahead here and just click Finish Request and now Submit Request. All right, so I can see here now that Christine has been notified to sign the engagement letter. Okay, and Sammy will sign after Christine. So now I'm going to go and see what this looks like from Christine's perspective. So as Christine, I would have received an email alert to sign the engagement letter, but I can also see the internal alert right here to review and sign the engagement letter. So I, Christine, am going to click here to review and sign the engagement letter. Do I agree to do business electronically? I'm going to click yes. If I click no, I will not be allowed to proceed. If I click yes, okay. And I can see that the person requesting my signature, Dana Shibley, my tax professional, is requiring that I input a one-time passcode as part of signing this document. So I'm going to click here. Okay. And now I'm going to check on my mobile phone. I, Christine, the signer, am going to check my mobile phone for that one-time signature code. And I'm going to type it into Verifyle here. Okay, and yes, I confirm my signature and initials. Okay, I confirm that my signature goes right here where Dana wants it to go, and that the date can go right here where Dana wants the date to go. Okay. And there I can see that I, Christine Carson, have signed the engagement letter. And I can click here to look at it if I would like. We'll do that in just a second. Let's go back and look from Dana's perspective. From Dana's perspective, I'm back in as Dana, the tax professional. I can see that Christine has signed the engagement letter. And I can click on it here, or I can click on it over here if I would like, either way. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right. There is the signed and dated engagement letter from Christine Carson, just as I requested. Okay, and at any time that I would like, we're not going to go through that whole process with Sammy in the interest of saving time, but anytime that I would like here, I can go ahead and click on this gear icon and click on View Signing Info, and I can see a document signing audit report, including all of the metadata associated with me requesting the signature from Christine Carson and the various data associated with Christine actually signing the document, including the fact that she has accepted to do business electronically, also capture of her IP address per IRS requirement, and so on and so forth. And as soon as Sammy Spouse signs this document, then all of his signature data will be added to this document signing audit report as well. And at any time that I would like, I can go ahead here and click on print to print out a hard copy or a PDF soft copy of this document signing audit report. Okay. All right. while we're in here, let me point out something else. At any time that you would like, you can go to any particular document and you can click on preview for that document, and you get unlimited document editing inside of Verifyle in the form of the following. Just click on the pencil right here, and then you can change the order of pages in any document that you have in Verifyle. You can also add annotation to any document inside of Verifyle as you would like. Okay. And you can also merge multiple documents into a single document in Verifyle if you would like. And of course, you can click on the X's to eliminate pages inside of Verifyle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click out of here. And before we move forward here, I wanted to point out something real quick. It's something that's easily overlooked, but if you talk to people who have just recently begun using Verifyle, what you'll find out from them is that they started using Verifyle because it was introduced to them by a colleague, someone they know in their particular industry, et cetera, et cetera. Many people begin using Verifyle because of the security that I talked to you about earlier. But if you talk to people who have been using Verifyle for a little while, what they'll tell you is really compelling about Verifyle and causes them to stick with it is how easy it is for them and their clients to use and how productive of a tool it is. And one of the things that really adds to the productivity of Verifyle is the workspace that we've been working in. Because inside of the workspace, you have the ability to really mentally capture for any particular situation or client all the key people involved and the key topics and the key documents and messages kind of in one psychological pane of glass, if you will, where you can see the interrelationship between the people, the topics, and the information, and really help make it tangible and allow you to elevate your thinking beyond, I need to do step 1, step 2, step 3, et cetera, to a more strategic level of how do I move this entire situation forward, okay? And Verifyle really allows you to do that. A lot of software that's out there these days has different modules and so on and so forth, especially in the professional services. And it really shouldn't be that way, because great software is really characterized by software that allows you to understand more while looking at less. It's software that allows you to accomplish more while doing less. And Verifyle really captures that inside of the workspace environment. Okay, moving ahead here. I want to show you a workspace real quickly that I created in advance to really drive home some key principles behind Verifyle. So I did create the Rockefeller family workspace in advance. And this is a situation where obviously deeper level communication capability is required. Multiple people, multiple topics, et cetera, et cetera. Otherwise, I wouldn't have created a workspace. I simply would have kept working with a key person there inside of the contacts area. But watch this. The Rockefeller family has a number of business holdings, quite a few assets, a number of people in the family that are involved in the taxation issues, in the finance issues generally, and I've created a workspace for them. So I'm going to click on this workspace, and now I'm inside the Rockefeller family workspace, okay? And I've created a number of workspace threads inside this workspace, including tax considerations, estate planning, legal requirements, cash flows, et cetera, in each case, making sure that the right people inside of my key contact, Ricky Rockefeller's network, have access to the relevant documents for them. And as you can imagine, there are quite a few people who are very interested in Ricky Rockefeller's asset list, his last will and testament, and his life insurance policy, including people like his immediate and extended family members like Rhonda Rockefeller and Susie's stepsister, but also people in his professional network, including his banker, Larry Lender Bank, his business partner, Ellen Executive, and also his financial advisor, Albert Advisor. Now, as you would expect, I am going to be absolutely the best tax professional that I can be in terms of helping Ricky Rockefeller minimize taxes and plan for the future. But above and beyond that, there is an opportunity for me to provide value to this relationship that probably wasn't expected by Ricky, in that there is an opportunity for me to, on a need to know basis, in very close conjunction with Ricky Rockefeller, serve as a professional steward of his information out to his immediate and extended family members and professional services network, with confirmation and control over exactly who has access to what information, right? Again, all in conjunction with close communication with Ricky Rockefeller. How sticky of a relationship is that? Okay. And how much opportunity does that potentially provide to me in the future to get exposure and potentially ultimately have some of these people as clients when they see the level of professionalism at which I protect the information I share to them and share the information and present it to them, right? I point this out because it's an opportunity to really provide something beyond just being a tax professional or beyond just being an attorney or a CPA or a finance professional or whatever your business happens to demand of you, and really step up to the plate and provide something that was not expected by your client. And I point this out because in the professional services industries, in particular, many of us are dealing in worlds where there's not a tangible physical product that's slowing down all these revolutionary changes that we have in the information world. So I think for those of us who want to remain competitive and use our professional strengths to grow our business network, Verifyle provides an excellent opportunity to do this and put yourself in an extremely sticky position with your clients that can generate leads for you long into the future. Okay, moving ahead. So I'm going to go back to the home screen here and point out a few things for you real quickly here. This is a question that comes up quite a bit. Whether you're in the Workspaces area or the Contacts tab, you should know that at any time, you can go over to this little Sort tab over here on the right, and you can choose to sort by updated date, or what I like to call recency. You can sort by first name, by last name, or by email address. You can do the same for Workspaces, okay? And another thing that I really want to drive home to you is that if you choose to use a workspace for a particular situation with a particular project or a particular client, et cetera, keep in mind single project per workspace, single client per workspace. Do not put multiple clients or multiple projects in the same workspace. It will quickly become challenging for you to stay on top of all the details there. All right. But for the more simple communications that you're having with individuals, of course, just go to the Contacts tab and communicate with people from the contacts area using one-to-one private messages communication. Okay. All right. Another thing that all of you should keep in mind is that, as you know, you can go ahead and click on the plus symbol and individually add contacts, but you also have the option to bulk import contacts into Verifyle from other software systems so that you can instantly fill out your entire contacts list and immediately begin securely communicating on a highly encrypted one-to-one basis with all those individuals, or communicate with them using Workspaces without having to worry about, okay, add their email address, add their name, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to bulk import contacts into Verifyle, all you do is click on the plus symbol right here, and then you can click on Import Contacts from CSV file. So the CSV file format is the standard for software companies to export and import contact information. Okay, and if you go to youtube.com and type in Verifyle contact, you can see a mini tutorial video there that shows you exactly how you can do that. If you need any help, just email us at support@verifyle.com and we'll help you out with that. Okay. And then the other thing I want to point out to all of you that at any time you can click on your name at the top right of your Verifyle system, and then you can go into account settings. And in account settings, you can do a number of things, including changing the name associated with your account. You can change your email address. You can change your electronic signature. You can change your logo to be any logo that you would like. And you also have the option to use our public upload page, depending on what your account type is. But the public upload page is basically a custom web page that carries a message that you create and also your logo, and anyone can access that public upload page in order to securely share information with you that ends up inside of your Verifyle system. Associated with the public upload page, you also have the ability to create what we call a handle. So for example, if I was a tax professional in California, I might create the handle Dana Tax CA as my handle. Okay. And once you create that handle, as long as nobody's already taken it, you can use that handle as a digital link to your public upload page. And you can post that handle inside of your email signature, for example, and also on your website if you would like. And if you want to find out more about the public upload page, just click in here. And there's a mini video here that will tell you all about it. Okay. Also, for those of you who have the request payments option, you can just click right in here to show details and watch the mini tutorial video right here about requesting payments. This actually allows you to invoice and receive payments from individuals right inside of Verifyle. Okay, here you can see the amount of storage that you've used of your allotment, encrypted storage inside of Verifyle. As you can see, I've used a tiny fraction of 1% of my encrypted storage allotment. Okay, here, automatically send alerts. If you're a new user of Verifyle, especially, you want to leave this at the default setting of being on. This is what makes it so that whenever you add information inside of Verifyle, an email alert is automatically sent to the intended recipients of that information, letting them know that you have put information inside of Verifyle for them to securely be able to access. Document activity alerts is the other type of alert. And these are the alerts that you receive by email, letting you know that somebody has looked at or downloaded files that you put inside of Verifyle. Okay. And you do have the ability to turn these off as you would like. Okay. And then message edit. The default setting is on. Okay. But you do have the ability, if you turn this off, to make it so that workspace threads that you are a host of are no longer editable. Okay. And also inside of Verifyle, you can create a block list. Blocking people inside of Verifyle is not a bad thing. It simply makes it so that a person you block, when they share information with you inside of Verifyle, you won't receive the email alert, although you will continue to see the internal alert in Verifyle. So if you work very closely with someone inside of your office and they're constantly sharing information with you in Verifyle, and you're looking in Verifyle quite regularly, they're probably telling you that they're sharing something with you. You certainly don't need to receive an email alert from that person for everything they add. So you might block that person. Okay, several language options right now. We have English, Spanish, and French. We will be adding more languages. Change password. You can do that inside of Verifyle right here. You can also go into the session management area. I recommend that all of you do this. If you go into the session management area, you can see if you have any sessions that you've left open on other devices, other browsers. But most importantly, in my opinion, is that you can use this handy little slider right here to indicate to Verifyle the amount of time after which if you have been inactive in Verifyle, Verifyle will automatically sign you out. Okay, I like to leave this at 1 or 2 hours, but I recommend that you all choose the amount of time that's convenient for you, depending on your work environment. Okay, two-factor authentication. As I mentioned, there are two types of authentication you can use. The easiest way is 2FA phone. This is the method that will send an SMS code to your mobile phone. So you can go ahead and set that up inside of Verifyle. And down here, you should know that you have the ability to click on Show Options to see the different account types that are available to you with some differences in capabilities in some of those account types. Okay, so take a look at that at your leisure. All right, to go back, I want to point out a few things that are common questions that get asked. One of those questions is, can I upload really large files to Verifyle? And the answer is yes. So we don't have an unlimited file upload size, but you can absolutely upload extremely large files to Verifyle, no problem. In effect, your ability to upload large files to Verifyle is really only capped by your bandwidth. Okay, the second question that we get quite frequently is, how long does information stay in Verifyle? Does it automatically get deleted after some period of time, et cetera, et cetera? And the simple answer to that question is, when you add information to Verifyle, it stays inside of Verifyle. However, if you've created a workspace like we did here for client Christine Carson, I'll go inside of here. I do have the ability to delete workspace threads inside of here because I am the host of this workspace, client Christine Carson. So for example, if I wanted to delete the entire estate planning workspace thread, only I can do that, none of these guests, right? Okay, because I'm the host of this workspace. Yes, I can delete the estate planning workspace thread by clicking on the gear icon and then simply clicking delete thread, just like this. Now you can see that the estate planning workspace thread is gone. Similarly, if I don't even want to see Lisa Lawyer's name here anymore, if you recall, I had given her access to some things, but removed her access. But let's say I don't even want to see her name here anymore. All I need to do is just click on the gear symbol right here and click remove guest from workspace. And now Lisa Lawyer's name is gone. Okay. Similarly, I can go to the home screen here, and let's say that I want to delete the entire workspace, client Christine Carson. Can I do that? Yes, I can. I'm the only person who can do that, as you know, because I'm the host of this workspace. And so how do I do that? It's a two-step process because it would be terrible to accidentally delete an entire workspace. All I need to do is go to the gear symbol right here, and the first thing I'm going to do is click Archive Workspace. Okay, click that. Now you can see that the client Christine Carson workspace is gone from here, the colored active workspace area. But if I click on Archive, there I can see in gray the client Christine Carson workspace. And by the way, if somebody were to add information to this workspace, it would automatically be kicked back up to the colored active workspaces area. Okay, but if I click on the gear symbol right here, I have the ability to manually unarchive the workspace to take it back up to the top here. Or if I really do want to delete this workspace, yes, I can do so by clicking delete workspace right here. Then clicking OK. And now the client Christine Carson workspace is completely gone. All right. So hopefully that helps all of you have a good rounded sense for using Verifyle, but also keep in mind that if you just want to get started real quickly, sharing information securely with somebody, you just go to the contact area, click on the plus symbol, add a name and email address, and you're in business securely communicating with somebody. So thank you for your time today, and please let us know if you have any questions. You can reach out to us anytime at support@verifyle.com. Thank you, everybody.